What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, the fight is on. As we know, supposedly, contracts are on the way. Nothing has actually been signed yet. So, let me just say that first, because you might just go online later on and find out fights off. You know, hopefully that's not the case, but, it is what it is. So, there's still a lot of questions, not so much for Tyson Fury, but Anthony Joshua, from a lot of, you know, fans and just different people in boxing that, have questions about if AJ will be ready, if AJ will be able to, be mentally ready. You know, we all know he just fought last month, so, physically he's there, but it's one of these things where same questions that most people have. So for me, it's like this. Anthony Joshua's a grown ass man. Whatever he chooses to do is what he chooses to do. So my whole thing was I understood what Fury was trying to do. Okay, so for Anthony Joshua, any fighter, it would not be wise to take a fight just because. You're trying to prove I'm not scared. I'm up to the challenge. We get that. I respect you for that. But at the same time, it's one of these things where you don't dance to the beat of somebody else's drum. Okay, unless you want to. Not because they're trying to force you, and look at it. Fury was trying to force Usyk, like, try to pressure him to fight sooner than he's ready. Same thing they did with Anthony Joshua. But Anthony Joshua decided, nah, I want this fight. The point of being mentally ready. That's the whole thing in terms of if Joshua should not have taken this fight. It's not about a Joshua Witness protection program. Let's baby him and pull him by the hand. And, let's admit no. You know, it is the thing with Anthony Joshua. He's always stepped up to these challenges, despite the lies and stories that people twist. And this is why, like, when we create this content, you can always go back in the archive and look up things that we talked about because people forget these things. Going forward, these false narratives start to, they appear to be true to people because they hear certain stories and they have to like that particular fighter. It's different. Like my whole outlook on the fights that never happened yet. Like you can look and say, why was there no AJ versus Wilder? People who don't remember, people that are not aware, they will sit back and say, whatever story that they choose to believe. But the truth of what we know, when that is brought to the forefront, like I said, they can look at videos and go, oh, that's what happened. Why was there no Usyk and Wilder? Why we never had, Klitschko and Wilder? You know, why was there no Joseph Parker, and Wilder? Joseph Parker and Tyson Fury wasn't always friends, but now they have a buddy system, so they won't fight each other. I mean, why was there no Dillian White and Wilder? You know, it's a whole lot we can look at fights that did not happen. Now, Fury, you can say he has momentum, but not. I mean, to be honest with you, there was no huge anticipation for him and Dillian White. Amongst the British people, yeah, but just boxing as a whole, no, it really wasn't. And I feel like when you live in a place where people are talking about it, you tend to forget that this is not globally. Everybody's just it wasn't really it wasn't a whole lot of talk about it. But I feel like it was a fight that needed to happen. Now, Dillian went in there and had a terrible performance. Like I said in the last video, it looked a lot like the Derek Chisora fight with Tyson Fury, where Fury's staying behind his jab and sliding back, but instead of Dillian trying to work the body, instead of him trying to break his body down, he's winging shots up top here and there, and he's missing by a long shot. and I'm watching it. You see that, like, okay, he doesn't know how to work his way in. He can't get to his body. Instead of him even even with feints and moving and touch him sometime. Everything doesn't have to be a home run. But watching that fight, Dylan, he was never in the fight. He was never in the fight. I don't even remember him landing anything on Fury, to be honest with you. But just watching that fight, it just didn't have that feel, that big fight feel. It really didn't. And a lot of that, okay, is to the way that Frank Warren and Fury treated Dillian White. Like he shouldn't be here. He's not worth this money. And after that performance, you're gonna have people going. I'm pretty sure you had a lot of people saying, "See, and Dylan talked all that stuff, and look what happened. He wasn't worth it." Now, I'm not gonna call Dylan White a bum. I don't think he's a bum, but at the same time, it's just that as hungry as he was speaking like he was, he didn't leave it all in the ring either. I mean, he was left in the ring, you know, but he didn't leave it all in the ring. What did he do different in 6 rounds? And I don't see anything that he would have did different or could have, simply because, again, he didn't show the ability to adjust to do anything different. And for people to say, "Oh, look how big Fury is," well, we've always known that, and so did Dylan. So it's not like it's something new. Now, Anthony Joshua coming off 2 back-to-back losses, things can happen to hit you in here, man. And this is like, just, it can happen. That is, especially after the meltdown, is why you know when you're looking at people playing chess, it's strategic, man. You're not just making moves just to make them. You have to understand why you're moving that rook or that bishop or that queen. Why are you moving that pawn? Why am I going that way? What's my next move? Am I trying to play 2 steps ahead? What am I doing? Trying to play 2 moves ahead? Am I trying, if I go here, he's gonna go there. It's strategic. You don't just make moves just to make them. So the one thing I was thinking about as far as Joshua and Fury goes, there's some genuine dislike there. I mean, in the beginning when AJ was coming up, you know, Fury talked good about him. He used to talk about how AJ in sparring got the best of him. How he took it to him. He openly said that. But then AJ just became this really big star. And it's like Fury started, just trying to like really talk down on him and call him a stiff robot and he's a bodybuilder and all this type of stuff. So pretty much this could be a fight that ignites a fire in Anthony Joshua because it's more personal. Now, you were in there 2 times with pound for pound the best technical boxer in the heavyweight division. And you did much better in the second fight, even though you came up short. That's still gaining experience. It all depends on how and what Anthony Joshua absorbed from that fight. This is 2 Brits. Anthony Joshua was the beloved number 1 Brit, in boxing. He doesn't want to lose that. He doesn't want Tyson Fury to be number 1. Not in Britain, not in boxing. He wanted to be that heavyweight. So this is a fight that could motivate him more to where, one thing I'll tell you, this is not the same as the Usyk fight. For people that keep saying it's going to be the same thing, now if you're trying to say it's going to be the same outcome because you think Fury will win, well, we'll see. But this is not the same fight. For one, Fury and Usyk fight nothing alike. 2, Usyk's a southpaw. Okay, and people that think Fury's going to walk through Usyk if they fight, and I mean, we'll see what happens. But what people are not understanding, like, you guys seem to think that, like, for example, people think that Usyk, they keep saying he's too small, he's too small. We know that Anthony Joshua didn't push him the way that a lot of us, could see, like, this is what he should be doing type of situation, and he's not. But Fury hasn't fought Usyk either. So it's really easy to say, oh, he's going to beat him because he's bigger or whatever. That's all fine. But that's more experience that he just had with the best boxer in the heavyweight division. As I said, it depends on how he absorbed and what he took from that fight. Now he's going in here with the guy that's much bigger. That's an easier target to hit. Anthony Joshua needs to, for one, work his way in. He needs to work Fury's body. He don't need to stand there and pit pat with Fury. He needs to throw his punches explosive. He needs to throw combinations here and there, mix it up and be smart. And pretty much Fury trying to fight him the way he fought Wilder, I don't think you're gonna get the same result. Well, I know Wilder's a different fighter. Him and AJ is like night and day. But for Fury, if he and I believe he'll try to stand his ground. I believe because I feel like he really truly believes that AJ is mentally weak and that he'll break his will. But Anthony Joshua has shown that he can fight on the back foot. But see, can he put it all together? Fury, in other words, regardless to whatever his game plan will be, and I think just because he really sees Joshua as weak, that he'll probably might try to let me see if I can walk him down. Let's see how I go with that. He just may try to do that, but that's the point where that's part of his game plan is dependent on Joshua to be mentally weak and break his will. But Joshua, now if he can get even more motivated because it's more of a personal situation with Fury. We just might see Anthony Joshua get his hand raised, and I'm certainly not saying like, oh, there's no way possible he can win. This is a different fight. Okay, Fury is not as he's not as hard to hit as Usyk is. Fury has power on his punches. He has weight behind his shots when he sits down on his punches. Fury throws slaps when he was going backwards and he's trying to punch. When he's coming forward, he does the same thing. If you watch when he fought Wilder, he did the same thing every time. When he's coming forward, he'll throw the jab out and hold his arm out and try to catch you with that clubbing shot. Like I said, walk you, get you back to the ropes, put his weight on you, all these type of things. This is a fight where I don't know. Anthony Joshua might come in the same weight that he came in for Usyk. He might bulk up. Who knows? Physically, Fury's not stronger than AJ. So trying to walk him down and that type of thing might not work for him the way he think it is. But at the same time, the tactics to try to drain Anthony Joshua's gas tank and feel like he's going to burn up a lot of energy. I'm gonna say this: Anthony Joshua and his team just has to be smart and fight the best fight that they can and make whatever adjustments that they need. And the other flip side to the um, mental aspect is I haven't heard anything about who's in whose corner with these camps. But if he's going to stay with Robert Garcia, for example, then Robert Garcia has to get back on the job and he has to pick one person, man. With Abel, he got Abel Sanchez and he has I said, and having Garcia in his corner and having two guys that you're listening to, not that it can't work. Okay, not that it can't work, but he needs somebody, he needs someone that can help him with bringing that hunger out. And he accepted the fight, so he better be ready. And against Fury, like I said, the tension between them, that might motivate him. That might just wake him up. It's a whole different fight. Now, Fury's just going to be Fury. Now, like I said, how if he tries to walk him down from the gate, if he conjugate on the back foot, whatever happens, I think for Anthony Joshua, he has to understand this too. Fury is a thinker. You don't want to give him time to set up what he wants to do. You want to keep him uncomfortable. Joshua's 6'6", he's 6'9". It's only a 3 inch height difference. It's, you know, AJ, what Wilder's 6'7", and it's not like Fury looked like a giant next to them. He looked a lot bigger and taller than Derek Chisora and Dillian White. Yeah, I think and I think they made a mistake. I heard them announce Dillian White at 6'5". I think Dillian White is more like 6'3", 6'4". Is he look way shorter? You can't tell me that that was an inch shorter because the AJ is 6'6". So you can't tell me that that was only an inch shorter than Anthony Joshua. I think Dillian's like 6'3", 6'4". More like it. even if they say it on paper, Dylan ain't no damn 6'5". He's no 6'5". But Anthony Joshua just has to be busy. He has to be on point. And pretty much, Fury fighting spurts. This is where people keep talking about his stamina, but Fury doesn't throw a lot of punches. Anthony Joshua can be out, can be busier with his jab, and he don't have to try to go for the home run every shot either. But he needs to break Fury to the body. Now we saw him landing shots to Usyk's body successfully. He just could never catch him with two shots, three shots. He just couldn't catch up to him to do that. He's not gonna have to find Fury, even if Fury tries to get on the back foot. Fury's not that fleet of foot. Okay, and Anthony Joshua might wind up knocking Fury out. Fury might, somebody got to win. But it to me, this is a fight that since he accepted it, he know what he put behind him to go do it. You know, I saw Eddie Hearn on the interview, and he was asked the question like, if AJ was to lose, where does he go from here? And he said, well, he's in the same position he's in right now if he does. And if he does, I believe then he'll go do that tour of China and fight these different guys that he initially was going to fight. But Anthony Joshua needs to win his fight, and he needs to make sure that if he gets Fury hurt, he finish him. He needs to make sure that he doesn't let Fury, catch him with unnecessary shots. And it's not to be tentative and nervous, because that's you see a lot of nervous energy. Like when he's in there, he's trying so hard to not get hit and get his shots off, which it's like it limits his offense at times because he's trying to be so perfect with it. And y'all know who I'm pulling for anyway. What's going to happen is what's going to happen. So my whole thing was, like I said, if he take it, he take it. If he don't, he don't. But if you take the fight because you feel I'm ready and I will be ready, great. If you take the fight because you don't want to hear, people accusing you of ducking, and I think Anthony Joshua has been worried about what people think for far too damn long as it is. So that was my whole thing is you have to feel like, nah, I'm ready. I want this. Not, man, I'm going to take the fight because I don't want people to think that I'm afraid of Fury and they're going to say it's my fault that Undisputed didn't happen because, Fury and, his people calling me out saying I haven't to the day and, whatever, and calling me out for, this fight sooner than I wanted to fight, and they're going to say that I'm ducking. So my whole thing was you take this fight because you're ready. And see, understand this, y'all, because there's people that say he has to take this fight. He can't turn it down. That kind of money, and he may never get that chance again. I get where you coming from on that, but then that's also, you got to look at it this way, okay? Anthony Joshua is still a star, and he can turn the fight down. It's just a matter of if he wants to fight or not. Does he feel ready? Does he feel like I'm ready to go in there and I'm confident I'm going to beat Fury? Or is he going in there like he did with Usyk, talking about praying, and all I can do is try my best, that's all. He sound defeated against Usyk when he was talking like that. So it's not even about, like I said, talking trash and trying to pretend that you're more prepared than you are. No. It's just, if you go in there and, like, again, let me further my point. You said, people were saying that kind of money he's going to make. Well, a lot of times you guys say, oh, these guys are not fighting for legacy. They just fight for the money. Anthony Joshua is a guy I can say fought for both, and Anthony Joshua is always the one fighting the top heavyweights, despite Deontay Wilder trying to tell you different or anybody else trying to tell you different. Look at his resume. That's all. But if you're going to say these fighters don't fight for legacy, all they fight for is the money, and basically you're cheating the fans. Well, wouldn't he be cheating the fans if he just took this fight just because of the money? Wouldn't he still be cheating the fans if he did that? Because you're doing it just for the money, then you go in there and then the fight ends up one-sided because you're not mentally prepared. So instead of giving him his props for getting in there, you know, it's more like I want him to go in there because I don't think he beat Fury and I want to see him lose again. And we know that that's where a lot of people come from with that. And for Anthony Joshua, for those who, whether they want Fury to win or want AJ to win, and they just generally want to see a winner, fine. But again, so if he took it just for the paycheck, that's not enough motivation. That's not enough motivation because usually when people start getting that money, and he's been getting it, but people get lazy, they get complacent, and they feel like, they just lose that hunger because they don't have to be hungry anymore. So, me, I just respect it more for a guy to take a fight because he's ready. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and get your money. But none of it matters now anyway. It's all irrelevant because he accepted. And the fight's up. But I'm just making the point that when you say that, well, he has to take this fight. He actually doesn't have to take this fight. Like I said, it was a matter if he wanted to take it. Anthony Joshua, like I say, he's still a star. Who do you think won't fight Anthony Joshua? He do his little tour of China and how many fights he's going to have. Who you don't think of Daniel Dubois? You don't think Dylan wants a rematch? You don't think that there's guys out there, Joe Joyce? You don't think Joseph Parker wants a rematch? Andy Ruiz? There's guys out there. There's guys out there. And the only guy that's yet to say, I really want to fight him, like, I want this fight, is Deontay Wilder. He always, when you ask him about fighting Anthony Joshua, it's like he get an attitude and go into this whole him and Eddie full of shit. They say one thing and do another. So, no, you have to do it. No, he doesn't have to. But he did. So, again, I don't see AJ as that kind of guy that I'm just doing it just for the money. I don't see him that way. But if he wins this fight, you guys know it's going to be a rematch. So that means he has to beat Fury twice before he can move on and do whatever else he wants to do. Now, if he loses the fight, like I said, more than likely he'll go back to doing his tour or whatever he was going to do. And, once he completes that, then jump back on board with, somebody from the very top. So anyway, until I hear him and Eddie say that they got the contract and okay, fight's on. Fury signed it, we signed it. Until we hear that, I'm just giving you the news and my views, on this potential fight. But I'm definitely not crossing my fingers or holding my breath. If the fight happens, like I said, it happens. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I wouldn't mind. I'm definitely going to see the fight. Now, I'm pulling for AJ all the way. But like I always tell you guys, just because you want someone to win doesn't mean that they are. But if think about it, if there's any one fight in the whole division that should fuel him up, it should be with Tyson Fury. And also Deontay Wilder. Some people, Dillian White too. I mean, yes and no. He beat Dillian White. So they were going to fight again. And, the deal was offered to Dylan and Dylan declined it. And said that these guys weren't serious. They were throwing him chump change. And so at the end of the day, he has options. And the beautiful thing about it is he still has options with the top guys. But that's yet to be seen. I already know Anthony Joshua is the underdog in this fight. He knows he's the underdog. That doesn't mean shit. But what does matter is how he approached this fight, what his mind state is. But just understanding how Fury's going to fight this fight, it needs to be a situation where it's understood. You know, this is a fight that was in the making for a long time. And now that it's here, neither one of them, let's just say neither one want to blow the deal, even though, Fury was trying to get that advantage. They both are probably going to be more motivated than they were in other fights. So Anthony Joshua, you can't go in here. You can't afford to go in here underestimating yourself. You can't fight anybody underestimating yourself. Tyson Fury, after all that shit he's talking and calling him a blown up bodybuilder and all this, he can't go in there and half-ass it. Because if he goes in there and lose, it's like, hey, yeah, you talked all this shit. AJ beat you. And he doesn't want that. Neither one of them want to lose, But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.